19 U.S. states have at least partially banned TikTok on government devices and computers, and the Senate has passed legislation to do the same. TikTok, meanwhile, doing their part to assure the U.S. government the data is safe from the Chinese Communist Party. Tech editor Dan Howley here with the very latest from TikTok. How are these efforts going?
Not great, not great. So basically the government and TikTok have been in these negotiations over how TikTok can assure the government that user data for U.S. citizens is secure from being accessed from folks in China. They've been offering these different solutions, working with Oracle, having U.S. data only accessible in the U.S. through Oracle's cloud services, having Oracle go through the code itself to see if there's any kind of backdoors. But really, it hasn't helped at this point. I don't think that there's any real way that they'll be able to assuage concerns from the U.S. Intelligence agencies. The FBI has said it's a problem. The CIA has said it's a problem. Those are really the agencies that would recognize, especially, the CIA when it comes to issues like this. And, I think it's interesting to see, there's kind of this strange disconnect between Twitter's user base and then the people that are trying to,
TikTok,
control it. Yes, yeah. Where there's the users who don't seem to really recognize what's going on. You don't really talk. It's not talked about.
They're not concerned.
Right. And then there's the legislators, this security apparatus that are saying, look, this is a problem that needs to be addressed. It not going on government devices, I mean, that makes sense. I believe we've done that in a number of states.
Seems like a no-brainer. Yeah.
Right. The military, you're not allowed to have TikTok on there. It seems as though it continues to go more and more against TikTok. Now, don't forget, the Trump administration tried to ban the app outright. And, they were just bogged down in legal fights about it and ended up losing. There was supposed to be an order that it would be banned. Joe Biden lifted it. The idea was, look, we'll try to get some kind of resolution here. But it doesn't seem like it's getting there anytime soon.
Well, let me ask you about ByteDance, the parent's company. A new report in the New York Times earlier today saying that ByteDance employees had, quote, inappropriately obtained data on TikTok users, including that of two reporters. Dan, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is from the Times, and then on Forbes, one of the writers who was a former BuzzFeed writer moved over to Forbes and wrote about this issue on Forbes itself today, basically discussing how there were leaks going on. Journalists had gotten a hold of some data about the operation to try to get U.S. data in the leave U.S. data in the U.S. Rather. They ended up having ByteDance had this team that was going in to try to see where the leaks were coming from, what was happening. Apparently, members of this team then went in, got information, including the IP addresses and other information from these two reporters and people associated with them. This is exactly what ByteDance doesn't want to see happen at this point. Their heads of the company are basically saying, look, this was not something we wanted to happen. The relevant people who were involved in this have been fired or resigned. But I don't know how much this is going to really help saying that when we already have the government and the intelligence agency saying that this is a problematic app. And really the issue comes down to two things. One is the devices that it's installed on. So you could tell people to not install an app all you want unless there's some kind of software on their phones preventing them from doing so. Yep. Someone's going to say, it's just TikTok. It's not that big of a deal. The other issue, so they can gather information on potential government targets. The other issue is influence campaigns. Is China going to be able to say, we're not going to have any information on anything negative about China, but we'll have information on things that are negative to the U.S. And then, the potential to have data on younger users, and then they move into positions of power, and then being able to use that against them. So there's a number of problems here. I don't know how it will be resolved, though.
One of the central questions of 2023, quite frankly, in the entire tech industry.